Max, a hard-working young man, has worked as a technician in a small firm for over 5 years, where he acquired his technical skills. He was working very hard, with extra time, but was earning very little salary, that could barely afford his needs. He had always wished for a better job, but was skeptical to apply, because he didn't have any valuable certificate. Although he decided to apply for some job openings, he waited for months without having any invitation for an interview. Then he thought to himself that it was due to his lack of certificate. His situation was so tough that he couldn't afford to further his education. One day, he received an invitation for an interview from a multinational company. He couldn't believe it. He did well in the interview and was able to defend his job experience. So he was told that he would be contacted soon, if he was chosen, but one of the interviewers jokingly told him not to keep his hopes high, because he had no certificate unlike the others. He was optimistic regardless. He kept praying to God and waited patiently, but then months passed by without any news from the company. So he began to feel really bad and hopeless. He thought to himself that he might remain in the same situation for the rest of his life. One day, on his way to work, while he was waiting for a bus, a beautiful luxury car drove past him. He admired the car, but said to himself that he shouldn't be admiring things like this, when he can't afford even the simplest car. He was lost in thought that he didn't realize that the car had stopped some meters away from him, and the driver was calling out on him. Later he heard his name and thought to himself, I don't know any rich person, but he approached the car, and to his greatest surprise, it was his former colleague Nick, who left the company 2 years ago. Max was so happy to see Nike again and in a better condition. Max started asking what Nick was doing for a living and how he got to afford such a luxury car. Nick smiled and said to Max that this is nothing compared to his other assets. When he saw that Max was curious to know more, he invited Max to his house for dinner that evening, so they could have time to discuss further. Max went to work that day, feeling very bad about the job. It was his longest day at work, because he couldn't wait to find out how Nick's life changed in such a short period of time. That evening when Max arrived at the home of Nick, he was blown away by the luxury house, the cars, and the expensive furniture. Then he got more curious. Each time Nick was trying to deviate from the topic of how Max would insist and ask again. Finally Nick smiled and told Max that he wasn't sure if Max would be willing to do the same thing he did to get to that level. At that point, Max got a bit troubled in his heart, but he had already pictured himself in Nick's position. So he said to Nick, I'm ready to do whatever it will take to be like you. Therefore, Nick introduced Max to his boss, who gave Max a shady job, with a huge offer. Max knew it will compromise his morals and relationship with God, but he was tired of waiting, so he reluctantly accepted the offer. The next day, while they were having a meeting with his new boss, about Max's first mission, there was police intervention. The boss had been found guilty of many crimes. Things escalated too quickly and lives were lost, including that of Nick, but Max survived. He was so scared to have witnessed such, he was arrested and got imprisoned, awaiting trial. While Max was in prison, his family received a letter in his mailbox. It was Max's appointment letter for his dream job, the one he had been waiting to get all this time. The offer was really big, with a house and car package, health insurance, paid vacations and everything he needed to live a beautiful life. His family couldn't believe it. How could things have gone so wrong? Max was informed on one of his family visit to the prison. It was then that Max realized that the devil comes when you are closer to your breakthrough, to separate you from your breakthrough. He had let his impatience, lack of trust in God, and desperation cloud his judgment, and now he was paying the price. While in his prison cell, he prayed for forgiveness. He used his time in prison to reflect on his mistakes and to learn from them. When Max was finally released from prison, he later got another wonderful job, with a beautiful and peaceful life. In the end, Max's story serves as a reminder that the devil is always lurking, waiting to take advantage of our weaknesses and tempt us away from what is right, so as to disconnect us from God. But with trust in God we can overcome any obstacles. It is important to remain steadfast in our walk with God and to trust in the process of achieving our goals. While we can be discouraged when things do not happen as quickly as we would like, making hasty decisions based on the prevailing circumstances or greed can have long-term negative consequences. Be aware of the devil's tactics, as he often uses temptation and false promises to lure people away from what is right and true. Remain vigilant and to resist the urge to make deals that compromise our morals and values in relationship with God. Hopefully, Max was able to grow and become a better person from his experience. But not everyone survives such. It is also important to remember that even if we have made mistakes in the past, there is always a lesson to be learned and an opportunity for growth and self-improvement.